Well, now we are just letting the rumor mill churn everything out, aren't we? It's like an ice cream machine, just rotating and cycling through all the new pieces of info that we have been given. Because today we're talking about the Vancouver Canucks and the latest in regards to their trades. Now, the reason we are making this video is because of what Bruce Garriock wrote on the Ottawa Citizen, relating the Vancouver Canucks to the Ottawa Senators, and also what Rick Dhaliwal said on Sportsnet 650's Halford and Bruff earlier yesterday morning. Now, by the time this video is up on YouTube, maybe there's already a trade done. Who knows? But at the time of recording this audio, all we've got is just the rumors, so let's go out there and spill it, shall we? This is what Bruce Garriock wrote about in the Ottawa Citizen earlier in the week. That the Vancouver Canucks do have some pieces that the Ottawa Senators would likely be interested in, including defenseman Filip Hronek, forwards Conor Garland, Kiefer Sherwood, and Jake DeBrusk. The issue is how many of those guys are realistically available. Now, the answer to that question is everybody is available in Vancouver for the right price. It's like Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. Everybody's got a price. Everybody's got to pay. Okay, we're not going to go out there and do the entire thing, but Vancouver players are on the market and there is extended trade conversations to be had. Quinn Hughes got traded, folks. Nobody is off the table for the Vancouver Canucks. Now, what does this mean for the Ottawa Senators? Well, it means that if they want some of these forwards, all they got to do is pay the price that Vancouver is asking, and they could get these players. They're going to have to give up maybe a young-ish piece, young prospects, high draft picks, if possible. Doesn't seem like Jake DeBrusk or a Conor Garland or whomever will be demanding extremely high draft picks in return, but the Ottawa Senators might want to go out there and flex their muscles a little bit if they were to see value in a trade for a Conor Garland or a Jake DeBrusk. I mean, Filip Hronek also being on the market too, that doesn't surprise me, but at the same time I'm also thinking, out of all the names that Vancouver has available for trade talks even, I feel like Filip Hronek is the last guy who is going to be capable of getting traded at this point. He is so valuable to this Vancouver Canucks team, not because he's like an all-star or anything, but because it's hard to find anybody who can replace those minutes and that role that Hronek has with the Canucks. Ever since Quinn Hughes' departure from the team, Hronek has needed to be the number one. I'm not going to comment on whether or not he's been good or bad at that role, but let's just say there's no better option right now. So, if Ottawa wanted to get their hands on a Filip Hronek, I think at the minimum you're asking for Jordan Spence coming back, you're probably asking for another prospect, you're probably asking for a draft pick, and that's not even to say that Filip Hronek is that much of an upgrade over Jordan Spence, but it's just to say that Hronek is Vancouver's best defenseman. Like, this is the Chris Tanev argument from 2018 all over again. Oh, the Canucks are not going to trade away Chris Tanev for just a first to Toronto because he's their best player. Even though Toronto Maple Leafs fans could say that Tanev is worth probably around just a first or less than that. It's the value of what he means to the organization he is on that will determine what the price really is. Even though a guy like Filip Hronek, if he's on a Stanley Cup contender team, ideally he probably isn't a top pair guy, but he's a pretty good number 3. Number 2 if you need him to be. He shouldn't be the best defenseman on your team, but for Vancouver he is, which is why I think that makes it a lot more difficult to entertain trading him away. Then you have the entire discussion about trade protections and everything, which it's hard to fully commit to because the Vancouver Canucks are so bad and they're going to go down this rebuilding path. I would understand if anybody really just decided up and away, yeah, no, sorry, I don't want to rectify this no-move clause anymore. I'm willing to waive it. I'm willing to get traded to another team. If it's a team like Ottawa that wants to have a splash in the playoffs this year, then okay, maybe there's a pretty good opportunity there to shake things up and to try and force themselves into the postseason. The Sens aren't doing too hot this year, but they have won a few games in a row. All the drama with Linus Ullmark and the off-ice rumors and everything, there is a shakeup needed in Ottawa. So I can understand, from Garriock's perspective, why the Sens would be interested in acquiring some extra middle to top pair forwards and defensemen. Now, let's go out there and read what Elliotte Friedman said on 32 Thoughts. This is 32 Thoughts, the podcast from yesterday. Canucks News Summaries went out there and summarized the Canucks-related hits from Friedman in this piece. Turns out everyone is available, and the Canucks will listen on the whole roster. Friedman said he feels really badly for Elias Pettersson because of the personal issues he has gone through this season. Number one player that teams will ask about is Hronek and Garland, and now there's a realization from management that this roster isn't working. So, thank you to Elliotte Friedman for going out there and laying the scoop down. I feel bad for Elias Pettersson too. He had a lot of drama to go through. Things were not good for him the past 18, 20 months-ish in Vancouver. It's been a tough go for Petey, and I think at this point a lot of Canucks fans have already decided where they're at. Whether they are a Petey guy, or they think that Pettersson shouldn't have been extended in the way that he was, or that he was the problem. I think everybody's kind of chosen their sides already, and it's tough for Canucks fans to fully absorb what Elias Pettersson is and has been for this team, especially when you look at how badly things have gotten over the years. EP40 is no longer the top-tier stud that he was, but hey, at least he's getting some sympathy here. He deserves it. He has been through the ringer, and honestly, he's been fine this year. He hasn't been the problem for the Vancouver Canucks in 25-26, so I think there is certainly value that can be accrued if you are a team trading for Petey. For 11.6, that's very debatable, but as Frank Saravalli said, it doesn't seem like teams are going to be too reticent with that contract anymore, now that all these other players are getting big dollar amount deals too. I mean, if Philip Broberg can go for $8 million, then what's Elias Pettersson at 11.6 gonna do? That's not that bad, really. Then finally, we had what Rick Dhaliwal said on Halford and Brough yesterday in the AM. It's a quick note on Nils Hoglander. This was also summarized by Canucks News Summaries. Turns out, Nils Hoglander needs a change of scenery. Dhaliwal has heard Hoglander's name in the trade market. Teams have always liked him. That, of course, is also a pretty big chip because Nils Hoglander, I don't know if y'all noticed, but he's one of the younger guys on the team. Hoglander was drafted back in 2019, so he technically is in his mid-20s right now, and he's a guy that I think a lot of Canucks fans are still waiting to see the quote-unquote breakout. Despite the fact that we did see Nils Hoglander have one of the best 5v5 productive seasons with the Canucks in 23-24. The post-Andrei Kuzmenko year for Elias Pettersson, and Nils Hoglander was an even-strength goal-scoring beast. This season with the club, he's got 0 points in 13 games, and 25 points in 72 games from last year, so things are definitely falling in terms of production from Hoglander's POV. That 20-goal season 2 years ago was obviously a highlight at 23 years old, but now, I kind of agree with Dhaliwal here. Hoggy could use a change of scenery, and whether or not that comes in a trade this season or sometime in the offseason, that remains to be seen. I'd say that Hoglander, in theory, he's a guy that you would want to keep around for the rebuild because he is young, but, you know, he's right at the end there. He's 25. If you can get him a new NHL opportunity in exchange for a younger piece, that probably makes sense for Vancouver. But you can let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. How do you feel about all these Canucks trade rumors from Filip Hronek to Conor Garland, Jake DeBrusk, Nils Hoglander? What are your thoughts on Elias Pettersson and Elliotte Friedman? Feeling bad for him. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign, and bye.